All right, hold up. Before you start outsourcing, there are a few things that you must do. Today, I'll reveal the critical prep work that is essential for effective outsourcing. It's all about setting the stage for a smooth and effective delegation process. Let's get started. I'm Joey Vitale. Welcome back to the channel where I help you escape the grind, hire all-star VAs, and cut your work week in half. Let's dive into it. First off, begin with the end in mind. Think about the future version of you having these amazing VAs and get clear on the type of work that they'll be doing. I'll give you a hint of what that could look like. You see, most business owners, when they start bringing on a VA, their attention shifts to, okay, what's some one-off tasks that I can have this VA work on? And while that might sound helpful in the short term, if you think about the long term, there's really little gain to that. If all you're doing is giving your VAs one-off tasks, then you're never getting your time back. You're never leveraging this snowball of a VA doing work for you more and more so that every month, every quarter, every year, more work is getting off your plate. So instead of rushing to those one-off tasks to delegate, think about the recurring work that you can start to delegate to a new virtual assistant. And specifically, think of the stuff that you do once a day or once a week, where when you're doing it, you're thinking to yourself, man, I should not be doing this work. Maybe it's managing your email or basic customer support questions that you have to answer, or even certain marketing tasks that are super basic, but you just don't know how to automate in your business. All of that type of work is being done by someone that's not you. That's why it's so helpful in the long run to focus on recurring tasks to give to a VA. Second, I want you to get really clear about what your training timeline is going to look like, your onboarding with that new virtual assistant. Generally speaking, I've found that it takes about 90 days for a new teammate to become a master at a task. And during these 90 days, they advance from comprehension to proficiency to master. And that's the key. Don't expect mastery on day one. Instead, think about the training and supervision that's going to be required for you to get that VA up to master level and plan for that time. Number 3, I want you to clarify the apps and the tech that you're going to be sharing with this new teammate. What are all of the different apps and tech that they're going to need to do their job? Should you create an email account for them to use when they're communicating on behalf of the business? Probably. Do they need shared access or maybe their own login account to manage your task management software? Slack. I'll tell you, one of my favorite things to do is when I bring on new VAs, also buy a course on what I want them to get trained up into, and then make sure that they have access to that course. The bottom line here is to get that list of apps and tech that you want them to have access to, have that list clear and put together ahead of time so that when you're onboarding them, there's not that hassle of knowing what they need access to. Number 4 is to throw yourself an unsubscribe party. The reason why I say this is because for most business owners, when they're having their first VA join the team, I love to recommend that you have that VA handle executive assistant tasks like your email, your calendar, and so on. And one of the best things that you can do to set your VA up for success if they're managing your email is to record yourself throwing an unsubscribe party. By that, I mean use some type of tool that will allow you to screen record your computer, something like Loom, and then just spend time talking to yourself and going through the different emails in your inbox that you want to unsubscribe from. What's great about this is that number 1, your inbox isn't going to be nearly as messy when they come on board, but also this video will help them get a sense of how you think so that in the future, they can be unsubscribing on your behalf based on the thought process that they're seeing you make during this video. Speaking of managing your inbox, click the link below to access my free Master Your Inbox mini course. This comprehensive mini course is packed with actionable tips that will help you reach inbox 0. And yes, you can absolutely give that access to a VA as well. All right, back to our list. And this is actually the last item on my list of things that you should do before you start outsourcing. Is I want you to paint the profitable picture. In other words, I want to make sure before you start outsourcing that you see that there's going to be a really strong ROI here. When you start outsourcing, you should ideally be seeing 1 or 2 main benefits. And these benefits show a return on your investment in terms of outsourcing. That first benefit, or ROI, is that by delegating this, you're delegating it to a teammate that's actually going to be making you money. That means that there's a very clear financial value add every time they do that task, because it's helpful with bringing in money to the business. Now, the second benefit, the second ROI, is that it saves you time. I say this because when you start outsourcing, it can be really hard to track at first a financial ROI, but you should be seeing a time ROI pretty quickly. I like to say that profit isn't just about money, it's also about time. And when you start outsourcing, you want that to be done in a way that is profitable, both in terms of money and in terms of time. This can get tricky because sometimes someone will ask for a lot of money to outsource things. And that's why VAs can be so helpful when it comes to making these first steps towards outsourcing. Because if you can have them work on tasks for $10 an hour or less, then the math is pretty easy that should help you free up your time to work on $100 an hour tasks, $500 an hour tasks, $1,000 an hour tasks. And that's why I love outsourcing at the virtual assistant level so much, because it's just so easy to make sure that it's profitable. You get a lot of time back, and you're only paying $6, $8, $10 an hour. I'll go deeper on this topic and share other tools that will help you escape the grind, hire all-star VAs, and cut your work week in half. Now, if you want to continue learning about outsourcing, then click the video that's on the screen now.